Hey guys, it's Ghost here, and I'm here with my pal Nick. Introduce yourself, my friend.
Yeah, guys, my name's Nick. I'm from the Card Brothers YouTube channel. A lot of the stuff we do is like Phantom Nights and tier limit, tier limit related. That's what my buddy Caleb plays. We do a lot of top profiles from the area, from Florida, Tampa, stuff like that. So if you guys are interested in that kind of content, give us a follow.
Also, he is the #1 best Phantom Knight player on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Geo, please
Sorry,
don't
Gio.
kill me. And then you have right here, not just the best Phantom Knights player, best Phantom Knights player on the West Coast. Just a solid tier. Trust me.
Probably the only Phantom Knights player. Sorry, go ahead.
The only fan. Actually, Nick, I've never actually met another Phantom Knights player playing.
That
out
is
here.
hilarious.
That
was funny.
Wait. No. Never played one. Never played a mirror match. Playing Geo's the only time I've ever done a mirror match, but I never actually had to deal
Me and
with
Gio
it.
played once in the in between rounds at a regional one, so I think that was it.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna get started here. We have a little fun video for you today. We're gonna be doing a tier list for all of the historical engines that Phantom Knights have used. Now, Nick, I based this not based on how good they were, how relevant they were at the time. It's just, did somebody use it in a video or in a tournament at some point, even if it was local. So we're going to go that. I'm pretty sure that the best variants of Phantom Knights didn't even use this engines in top cuts for regionals, but there was some fringe play at locals or some random replay videos. So try to compress them all together into this tier list. So yeah, let's get started. Nick, I'll let you take it away. The first one we have here is the Predaplant engine, not the Verte engine, the level 3 Orifice Scorpio engine to Search Fusion Destiny.
Yeah, so this goes pretty hand in hand with the DPE that you see a little bit later. Honestly, this is just kind of almost a worse tour guide engine, at least in my opinion. The ceiling is a lot higher for the Predaplant stuff, but honestly, between having to discard a card for I think it's the other part of the engine that gets you there, as well as the bricks that you have to play, it's kind of rough.
But discards is cost, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
And also just again, it depends on the kind of build that you're playing. But having to commit your normal summon also means that you can't play stuff like the Adventure engine, which has become kind of a staple in a lot of the topping decks. So it just kind of takes you out of a lot of the really good engines that the deck can play right now.
I don't know if I was thinking about this when I made this. I don't know if I want to put it in D tier. Maybe I feel low C tier, high D tier maybe, because it's not terrible, but it's
yeah, it's not bad, but it's definitely not nearly as optimal as some of the other stuff that we have here.
Because you could run it in a tour guide variant of the deck, but you could just play tour guide because you
exactly
already have a normal summon.
I'll
put it in D tier. I'm gonna say, I don't know if you agree with me. I'm saying D tier, but I'm high D tier.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair. Yeah.
All right. Next one here, the Punk package. Now, if you guys seen from my recent videos, I have been playing this recently, but I do know a lot of Phantom Knight players were playing it back in 2022, like early 2022 before the May ban list. So it's been quite a while since it's seen relevant play. I understand that Punk is more used in either as its own deck or in the other versions of the deck. I think it was Punk Gold Pride back in 2023 when this deck specifically was relevant, but not relevant with Phantom Knights. I personally, from my perspective, Chonk, playing it, I like it. But again, the variant of Phantom Knights I'm playing is unorthodox and not really popular. So I don't know. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I think it's definitely good. If you're playing more a higher build count, the engine is actually really, really good. Just being able to cycle through and get access to level 3 that you need. But again, it's one of those things where it's at what point are you adding a lot of bricks to your deck, inoptimal plays, having to discard? You're already discarding a lot of cards with the other engines. So it's stuff like that. Me personally, probably put it in a really solid B tier.
Solid B tier.
Yeah, that's just where I'm at, because I'm looking at some of the other engines that we're able to play down the line, and it's definitely a high B, low A.
Okay, I'll put it in high B. I think I agree with it being in B. Just because like a lot of the deck lists when Phantom Knights was like, I think Phantom Knights was at its prime in like March and April of 2022 when Verte was still around and they were like running around with this engine. So just for that specifically, I think we can put it in there. Now this one slightly gives me a bit of PTSD because when I first played, well, when anyone that plays Phantom Knights for the first time, they always start with the tour guide engine, especially back when the adventure package just was like so expensive. Um,
Yeah.
I remember being stressed out, just like normal summoning it and hoping it doesn't get hand trapped.
Yeah, for them, like Valor Ash Blossom on that thing, you were cooked.
Yeah, like you could have a level 3, but like it still doesn't feel good. But it's just so like if there's no adventure package, everyone would run this. Like if I'm being honest with you, like if the adventure package just never existed, tour guide would probably be in every Phantom Knight deck list. Like even now. I personally think it should be like at an A tier, and like it's not S tier just because adventure and other variants are better. But like I think it's A tier in my person. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like if you're not going to be playing the adventure engine, it is definitely the best. I would argue probably the best normal summon that you can play at least currently because like the Graph Seer combo is like you get so much free advantage off that kind of stuff. It is absolutely kind of bonkers.
There was one tournament I played at the LA regional where I normaled Seer special Graph.
Yeah, dude, that's combo, you know?
And it's full combo, so yeah. Like I said, if the adventure package didn't exist, every Phantom Knight list, in my opinion, would probably run tour guide. Like, there's no reason we wouldn't.
Yeah.
Now this one, the Sinful Spoils package. So Figsfor made a video about this, like back in early 2024, late 2023. I don't remember what the exact date was.
Although it was actually, well, he's been doing it. He did it again recently.
He did it again recently, yeah, with the Azamina package. But I'm more talking about just like the witch package just on its own. A few decks did use it. I'm not really thinking Azamina here because it's also on the list. I'm just thinking just the Sinful Spoils set a trap card kind of list, and also just witch being a dark body. I don't know where to put it. I've seen it in like one video. So like
if we're taking away like the deception version, again, this is like another one of those like there's another engine that makes you discard cards where you're already discarding a lot.
Yeah.
Right, and you're already having to commit a lot of bodies to the board. So like the body that it gives and like the follow that it gives, like if you're having to like summon it back on their turn or stuff like that, it's good, but honestly, it by itself just probably isn't worth playing unless you're playing the Azamina stuff.
Yeah, I would put just the Sinful Spoils package in D tier. Like, we don't have any level 1 fires. Like, it's not worth the discard for a trap card. I'm sorry. But it was cool when I saw his video on it, so, I'll give him that.
Yeah, like, I mean, and he does really well with it. More props to him because he is, like, a phenomenal player.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you want to do well with it, awesome. I'm not sure if this is kind of the build like that I enjoy playing. So.
Now this one, you see DPE here. This isn't the hero package. This is more of this is for the DPE Predaplant Verte Anaconda package with Scythe, but I just didn't want to put like the Scythe package and Verte and like DPE all like within one photo. So DPE just represents that. So that specific Scythe lock package back in 2022 that not just Phantom Knights, but every one of their mob was running back then.
Yeah, for real, honestly.
Yeah, that
is Dagda legal?
Which one? No,
is Dagda legal?
I think it's legal. I just think Scythe is banned, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure Dagda's legal and Scythe is banned. So
yeah. So honestly, if that's the case, if we're going to be like, if I'm being honest, playing things like if we're playing Dagda, playing things like Lancia as something as a potential set for Dagda, and then DPE popping it, summoning it out, tributing it for against stuff like Malice, like decks like that. Honestly, might be worth looking into.
But it's not really like for nowadays. It's more like historical relevance. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, well, if we're going back like 2022, those cards are absolutely broken.
I think I wanted to put the Verte again. To everyone here, it's not Heroes. It's literally just Verte specific. This is
Yeah.
Verte Scythe TPE lock. I wanted to put it in S tier, but it's been so long since like anyone's gotten to play it. We could put it in high A tier. I wanted to like ask your opinion on it because it is the thing that elevated PK to like tier 2 status back in the day.
Yeah, so if we're talking like back in the day, definitely I think it's worth, thinking about it being more in like an A tier, B tier area. Honestly, it'd be A tier because like
A-tier,
it is a turn skip back then. Nowadays it probably wouldn't be as good between like Bestials and all the stuff that we have now.
Yeah, if
back
it was legal, I don't think they'd make.
Yeah, I mean the combos were broken.
God, imagine Snake Eyes with Verte, bro.
Dude,
that would be toxic. I'm not sure if I put it above Tour Guide. I personally think they're even. I think they're equal in terms of relevance and power.
Yeah.
In my opinion, if it goes through. But like they're just next to each other, so neither one of them is better than the other. I think they're just like even. I just can't put them as even.
Yeah.
Now this one, PK Kashtira was the thing. It was super fringe though, like super fringe. Like not a whole lot of people played it.
Yeah.
I just know like a few people I know back in Europe played this version of the deck and like had some success with it. I know nothing out of the deck because I don't think there's even a video or a deck profile on it specifically outside of maybe just running Fenrir. I don't know. I was honestly gonna put it in D tier, but I have a friend who played this and he might get mad at me if I put it in D tier. I say D tier, middle of the road D tier ish. Yeah.
It's like I know like between if you're just playing like Fenrir and the Kashtira Riseheart, that package isn't awful because you can go into the Mecha Phantom Beast, make Cherubinis and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You start doing plays through that, but personally I feel like it's just not. It doesn't advance your plays at all, which is what a lot of the packages that you'll see that I kind of dislike. That's kind of the way that I kind of gauge, how much I enjoy that version of the deck.
So. If you're gonna play Kashtira, play it on its own, or don't play it with Phantom Knights. There's other engines you can mesh with it. What was the deck that's going on right now? Kashtira something? Is it Kashtira Fiendsmith? Kashtira Fiendsmith. Yeah. Super low to the ground. Super cool deck though. Not trashing on it. Super low to the ground. Not complicated.
I mean, like the concept's been really cool. I know people were like, I think it was like Triff was talking about just pure Fiendsmith, and this is just kind of like an additional like supplementary engine essentially just to keep the ball rolling and the engine going. So I mean I think it's kind of that deck's kind of cool, but it definitely doesn't mesh well with Phantom Knights.
Yeah, Phantom Knights specifically D tier. Other decks probably A to S, but like we're not on those decks right now. As Amina, Figs Form, if you're watching this, we're thinking about you, buddy. I've played against Azamine a few times at locals. I'll be honest, I didn't read the cards, so I can't. I'm gonna let you take the floor with this. I watched Figsform's video. I literally don't know what the cards do, even though I've played against it like a few times already. Like, in Fam Night specifically, Nick, what do you think?
So this is another engine. It's very similar to like the Horus engine, where you can't search it at all. You really have to like just hard draw the cards, which automatically makes it like not S tier in my opinion. But it's definitely like I would say it's probably B tier. And the reason why I put it up there is like, well, one, you have to hard draw it. Two, it doesn't get your plays going very well. However, the Omni Negate that the engine like provides, as well as having Griffin Rider that we have if you're playing the adventure stuff, that is super crucial for like protecting our Fog Blades, making sure our IP goes through, or the Evil Swarm Nightmare, depending on what version you're playing, or Ophion, whatever. That kind of stuff is actually very, very nice, and it can be nice, but again, you just have to hard draw it. And I mean, it can be used as a good bait, but I don't know.
Just gotta be better and just draw better than your opponent,
exactly. Just
do better.
Just win.
I last night I was on Dueling Book and I set up my full board, and the dude had Ross Mode Duster.
I mean, I literally just played at locals. He had Ash Blossom, Double Bestial, and Harpies, and I was like, well, you know what? Sometimes you just
They were built different, bro. They were just built different, bro. Like, you can't do anything about it. So Goblin Bikers. This is interesting because I remember reading up and watching videos about it back in like 2023, like late 2023 and early 2024. They were like, oh yeah, it's the perfect deck. You know, if your deck can spam out level 3 bodies and make rank 3s, it's the perfect play for you. And I was like, oh shoot, wait, really? Like, can we play this? Like, that's what I was thinking. And then I don't know, I think I got lazy and then never bothered to actually look into it. So I was like, I heard about it, I read the cards, I knew what they did. And I was like, this sounds like it would be perfect with Phantom Knights. And then I just never did anything with it. So it feels kind of bad about it. I got like lazy about making a video on it. I
literally bought the cards on release.
I feel like it could be a solid C tier. I saw like more than just Fringe play with it with Phantom Knights back in the day from a few people in the community. I feel like it would be solid C tier, high C tier, just from what I've seen. But I don't know. What do you think, bro? What do you think?
Honestly, I think this engine is a lot better than you give credit for.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like honestly, like the way that the deck plays. Now, granted, it's again, like I can't put it at S just because it conflicts with the Adventure engine. I love that engine so much in the deck, it's so free. But honestly, yeah, like the amount of plays that the deck gives, the amount of just free bodies it has, the free, literally just like one card Rusty Bardishes, as well as like a ton of other stuff, especially if you're playing like the Fiendsmith engine. If you're playing like all types of other stuff, it just puts bodies on board and gets you to like your combo plays. So honestly, I would probably put it right below Tour Guide. If I'm
right below Tour Guide? In A tier? Or like...
Yes.
Okay, I trust your opinion. Again, I saw a lot of play for this. Like, I'm not dogging on the deck at all. I legit just got lazy and never bothered to try to combine the two together. So, yeah. Okay, next one here. First off, thank goodness she's banned. Isolde's gone. That card was toxic as hell. It's literally it resolves, you win. The amount of things before we get into the amount of things that people could do with this card, like they people give a lot of credit for like people just like searching all the Exodia pieces with it, but even before that, it was just insane. Like it's just literally just insane.
Basically, if you could make this card, you could do whatever you wanted. Like it didn't matter.
Pretty much, yeah. Search any warrior, dump a bunch of stuff, and then summon any warrior from the deck. Nothing is not broken about that. Obviously, Phantom Knights being a Dark Warrior deck, it was used in Phantom Knights. I would say Phantom Knights was more an engine for Isolde than the other way around. Phantom Knights was more of an engine to get into Isolde. One of my friends, Callum, he played a deck called Warrior Turbo, and he went into Isolde and then ended on Bardiche. So, I'm not sure, because, like, Isolde decks, they used Phantom Knights as an engine. Phantom Knights didn't use Isolde as an engine, besides, like, one video I saw of a guy combining it with, like, some other stuff one time with Tour Guide. I feel like it can be solid B tier. Just a little conflicted on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those things where it is a massive choke point for that version of the deck. And it takes a lot of, at least personally, like, if I'm looking at other like Link 2s that I could make, it takes a lot of commitment, as well as a lot of space. If you think about, like, if you want to summon anything relevant off this card, you're gonna have to play, 3-4 equip spells.
Oh yeah.
So it just takes up a lot of engine. It takes up a lot of like extra deck space.
Like Cherubini's better, zombie vampires better. Like,
there's so many other things I would rather play.
Like, at least with Tour Guide, if it gets impermed, you can still have a extender to push past it, right? But like if Isolde gets impermed, you don't do anything. So I'll put it in B tier. It's not better than his email. I'll put it right here.
I would probably end up putting it in like C tier, just because like the combo potential is absolutely absurd. But it's
a glass cannon.
Especially like for bigger events.
It's a glass cannon. Definitely a glass cannon. You can pull it off at locals if everyone is like running rogue decks. But, like, Callum,
Yeah,
if you're listening to this, it's not a fleck on your deck specifically. It's just the engine and Phantom Knight specifically. All right, if you're listening to this, Callum, this is not towards you. Okay, so
it is towards you. I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
Nemesis Corridor and the uh, Thunder Dragon engine and all that jazz. Pretty cool stuff.
Mhm.
I saw Fig Swarm again. You're
Yeah,
noticing a
he's the
pattern
goat.
here, yeah. It's noticing a pattern
He's the
here.
goat.
It's probably based on some sort of Fig Forms video, but yeah, Nemesis Corridor, Thunder Dragon, Colossus. Thoughts on it? What do you think?
I mean, personally, like the only time that you're going to be able to even get access to this card is if you're playing both Shade Brigadine as well as the Stingraves, which I know a lot of players already are starting to cut. It takes up extra deck space, which we're already kind of tied on, depending on again, the version of the deck that you're playing. And honestly, just like it just kind of feels like a win more version. If I'm
Yeah,
being completely,
yeah, I agree.
um,
I didn't want to
like
give
the
it too
combo,
much flack. Did not want to give it too
yeah,
much flack, but like, I get D
like the
tier.
resources that you keep and that you get just by playing, like just by putting back cards with the dude like Nemesis cards are really nice for the deck. But again, you're just playing more bricks. If for like a long take, if for like a big tournament, if you're playing like 8, 9, 10 rounds, like it's some of those cards you see in your hand just aren't going to work for you. It's going to be rough.
Oh yeah. I'll put it in D tier. I think it's a D tier.
Yeah, it's a very big commitment, and you either have to hard draw it, or you have to like commit a lot of resources to get to it.
Now this one,
So
this one's kind of spoilers for my next video, because I'm making a video on this version of the deck like right after this, or the video, like 1 or 2 videos from now. I'm gonna post a video on this. I'm working on it right now. Orchest, especially with the new support. I was talking about this in the Fam Nights community. Actually, I am working on a variant of the deck, Chonk, or Nick. My bad. You know
no,
what I
you're
mean.
good.
A variant of Orchest Phantom Knights where it just ends on, I kid you not, like 6 to 7 disruptions off of 1 card. So
Yeah.
again, Glass Cannon. This is with the new support coming out, but this is also like what we were talking about with the Sold. Orchest is using Phantom Knights as an engine. Phantom Knights isn't using Orchest as an engine, so it's reversed. Um, I
Yeah, I
I
could.
I like it a lot, but I'm like super biased because I'm literally gonna make a video on it like after this. So I personally think that it should be in high tier C because it has potential, and I want to see how it is in the new coming set and in the future. So I would put it at high tier C just because I personally want to try to bring some things to it around the corner.
Yeah, I definitely think like the synergy is there. Like the synergy is there just because like the darkness, like being able to get to Rusty and just put bodies on board just to start link climbing. And I'm not honestly, if I'm being completely honest about the new support, I'm not super sure how well it meshes with like the Phantom Knight version of the deck. However, with a lot of like the mill engines that we have right now between like Fiendsmith getting to Pilgrim Reaper, Horus getting to Zombie Vampire, and just putting cards in grave for the Horus or for the Orchid stuff. Honestly, I can see it having a lot of potential like going forward. So
I would put it at high tier C. Now, the reason why
probably that's for right now. That's definitely where I would put it, but we'll end up seeing where the potential goes.
All right, now then when I get first place at a YCS, with this version of the deck, I'm gonna say I told you so, and we're gonna put it at S tier. How about that? Okay. But before we move on, I'll just tell you something. It's basically the new support is Link 1, so it basically turns almost all of your stuff into 1-card starters, and they are all darks, and they keep sending stuff to grave, and they reborn themselves to grave, and they just have more dark bodies on the board. And you know what dark bodies leads to. Dark bodies leads to Rusty, which links into more link climbing. So that's my theory of it. Yeah, it'll be fun. You guys will see it in my next video. Armored Xyz also support. This is also from the same set as the Wanted package, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, it came out around the same time as like Goblin Bikers, so it also was used with Goblin Bikers. Didn't read the cards. I know that any level 3 Xyz can like be layered on top of it, I think, and then you get like the trap card that like absorbs monsters as Xyz materials. Yeah. I heard it's pretty good. I think the extra deck is a little too tight for something like that, so it depends on the version you want to play in. I wouldn't. I don't want to keep chucking stuff into D tier. If you're gonna put it in C tier, I'd put it like around low C tier. But like then we're putting it with the Soul and Orcus. So, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Nick?
I again, it's like in the what is it, like Punk Therion, Goblin Biker, like that kind of like level 3 XC Mishmash deck. That stuff is absolutely insane, right? Like the combo potential for that kind of stuff is bonkers. But if you're talking about like a Phantom Knights deck, and that's like the focus that you want, I don't think the Armored XC stuff is going to be worth playing.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. This is a if it works for Fan Knight's video, it's not the engine in total. Obviously, if we were talking engines in total, the wanted package would be straight to S tier. We're talking about just engines in total, but it's not. So I'm gonna put this at low. I'm gonna put it like around mid D tier because I don't think it's as good as the Soldier and Orcus. Now this one, you probably don't know what this is, but I know what this is because it's the reason I play Fan Knights. It's the Silent Swordsman package. It's obviously S tier. It's the best, like the best package ever. Like it's so good. He's just so strong, and that's why we're gonna put it in D tier.
Absolutely broken. Gotta change it.
If anyone who doesn't know, it's basically you search Silent Swordsman. You used to be able to do it off of Assault and other stuff, but you would have to hard draw Silent Swordsman, and then you have to tribute one of your warrior monsters to summon him, and he's a spell negate. I played him because he was cool and he was awesome, not because he was competitively viable. It's just, I tried to work with it. It's a really cool card. Don't get me wrong. It probably works better for like the, what's it called? The Shining Sarcophagus deck. Probably better in that deck than it is in Phantom Knights. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can't really tell you much about it because I literally have never read those cards before.
No one ever has. I think that's the only thing I got away with it when I was playing it at locals. No one knew what I was doing when I was bringing out Silent Swordsman. So that's why. But like, if you knew what it does, you'd be like, oh, the adventure package is just better.
Yeah.
Now this one is because I'm not sure if Geo made a video on his deck yet, but Geo was on Fiendsmith with his version of PK, and I believe he topped a regional with it, though I could be wrong. But I remember talking to him about it in Messenger not too long ago. The Fiendsmith is just so insanely broken, and I still think it's insanely strong, even like after Patrice got banned. Like if Patrice wasn't banned, sure the extra deck is like really really tight with PK, but like if you can make it work, it's just really really good. Obviously we're talking about in Phantom Knights, this would be S tier in any other deck, but honestly, like from the results I've seen with Geo and like from my own personal playtesting, I would put it in like A tier. Maybe not high A tier, but like around A tier. Could we maybe breach S tier? I wouldn't mind talking about that, but I just haven't seen enough tops with it or enough reach with it specifically. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, so if you guys see my profile, you'll know that literally the only I'm playing one Fiendsmith in my deck. That is the only card that I'm playing. It is literally just once I have hit my nib check, I am then just going to be using it to combo into DDD. And I'm actually trying out Lars. That's a little bit of spice for later, but just honestly, like if you're putting up stuff like Lars, as well as Griffin Rider, and having like the back row setup, I think it's maybe worth considering. At least like the version that I was talking about, like just literally just the one engraver in your deck. That might be like low A, maybe. But yeah, just like if you're playing like the other stuff where you're trying to get into like Lurie, if you're playing Tract, like it's another version. Basically, it's another engine that doesn't get you places, doesn't exceed your plays. But honestly, like the interruptions that it puts up are kind of like very nice for the deck, if I'm being honest.
I want to put it in A tier. I think it's like above. I personally think it's just above Goblin Bikers. I want to put it here. I feel there could be some considerations for an S tier, but like I just want to see more results for it. But like hard consideration for S tier. But it's definitely A tier. It just beats everything else in this tier list. So yeah. I don't think you and I need to argue about this. I'm sure the entire Fan Knight community can agree with me on this. It's just Water
S tier.
Enchantress is just S tier. It's level three. Sometimes it can special summon itself for free. It's searchable. Plays through Nibiru. Like I think we're the like only. Well, as a meta, but like for a while, we're still one of like the old school rogue decks that could just put out a generic negate for free. Like,
Yeah.
It's our Baron DeFleur, essentially. Like it's.
Yeah, and we have free access to it.
Oh yeah.
Like, especially if you get that thing on by your 5th summon, you're cooking. Yeah, it's just awesome.
2 level 3s, you can still play around Nibiru. Like that's it.
Yeah.
At any 2 like so like in theory it's just like Speedroid Terratop. Oh gosh, I should have put that in here. If Speedroid Terratop, I forgot to put it in here, but Speedroid Terratop would be S tier though, in my opinion.
Yes.
If it were here. Forgot about that, guys. Don't hate me. Don't cook me in the comments. I'm sorry. I was thinking about other stuff. Speedroid Terratop is S tier if it was on this tier list right now.
It is literally the best card of the deck. I'm not gonna lie.
But Water Enchantress though, for free, play through Nibiru, and it can break boards, dude. Like it breaks boards on its own, and it checks so many things. Your opponent has to respond to it. They have no choice but to respond to it. So
the token is massive. Like the Eclipse spell, like starts outing boards. Griffin Rider is just like broken just for like playing through boards or like setting up and like playing through hand traps. If you play a Legal Knight, like cards actually kind of custom. Like in a vacuum, the card's insane. But I just
Oh, I was on a Legal Knight too. Don't worry, don't sweat it, bro. I was on it too.
Yeah, so. I was a huge fan for a while, and then I was like, wait, this card's actually like kind of dog. I'm gonna stop playing this.
Last one, obviously, owned by Horus. I think Horus is, first off, it's really risky. It can play against hand traps. The adventure package will protect you. Horus can also protect you as well, but it's just way riskier and it's not searchable. But I'm still going to put it in S tier just because it's proven itself to be like the package for Phantom Knights. Like it's just too good. I am more comfortable activating Water Enchantress in hand and having that get hit by Ash than having Lipsette get hit by Ash. But if you go Lipsette pitch Enchantress or Lipsette pitch Cloak, bro, like you're literally just
feels so good.
Yeah, it's so good. I'd argue that it's slightly weaker when it comes to the adventure package, but it makes up for it because it spams out bodies. All right. Zombie Vampire is cracked, Photon Lord is cracked, and also it's a free OTK in like 3 summons. Like just having big bodies that are almost invincible, just like ramming through your opponent's board will just win you games on the spot. So it's slightly riskier than the adventure package, but I think it's a solid S tier. Solid S tier.
Yeah. I don't know if S tier is where I would put it, just because like it is a gigantic like Ash Blossom, Purge, like bait. Like, it is like they see a +1. That's what the opponent sees, right?
Yes.
Whenever they Ash Blossom that kind of card. It's also not searchable. There's also 2 bricks. If you're playing Happy and Dumatef. So like for really long-term tournaments, sometimes that can impact you. I'm not gonna lie. But again, like the follow-up that it gives, like if your opponent doesn't give it a King Sark, you have OTK, literally, as he said, in 3 summons. Like the package is definitely probably like the top of A tier in my opinion. Just because like if you can't afford it, or if you just don't have the space for it, if you're playing more of like the site, like more like psychic trackers, psychic builder, that kind of stuff, you don't really need it, but it is definitely a nice luxury to have.
I agree with you though. Yeah, it should be in A tier. I feel like it's in between A and S tier, but like because if we're to also have Fiendsmith here, I think it and Fiendsmith are like, obviously Fiendsmith is stronger in a vacuum, but like I'd say it and Fiendsmith are around the same power level. But I'll put Fiendsmith and Horus like top of A tier, just like together. What do you think?
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, cool. All right, this is a tier list, guys. Sorry I forgot Speedroid Terratop. It's S tier. Just pretend like it's there. Just like
it is there.
It's there
in our hearts.
In our hearts, yeah. Thanks again for coming to the channel, Nick. Had a lot of fun talking to you. Excited to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh, and yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. Just wait, we're gonna be YCS champions soon with Phantom Knights.
Dude, I tell you, I have my deck. I literally just finished, basically raritying out the deck that I got more King Stars and stuff like that. We're looking good, looking shiny. So I'll be looking forward to playtesting the deck a whole lot more, trying out a lot of the new stuff, new packages that we're going to be seeing.
Please subscribe to Nick in the channel below, in the description below. He's a really cool guy, very knowledgeable, very solid. He's like consistently topping with Phantom Knights in his regionals out on the East Coast. Works really hard, really chill guy, really deserves it. Please go show him some love in the comments and description below. Thank you again for coming, Nick. Anything you want to say before we sign off tonight?
Yeah, man, thank you so much for having me. It's great being able to talk about all these engines because I don't really have people that really understand the PK deck, to understand the small things, the things that we really need to talk about whenever it comes to deck building for Phantom Knights. So it's just nice to be able to have this kind of conversation. So I appreciate you bringing me on.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. All right, I'll see you guys later. You guys have a nice night. Signing off, guys.
Peace out, guys.